What's up, YouTube? This is a quick POV drive review and thoughts on my Mini Cooper S. It's a 2003. I've owned it for just 3 weeks. He only has 74,000 miles. What a great tragedy of a car. Man, long story short, I bought this for $200. It was literally on its way to the junkyard. And dude was gonna get $300 for it. I said, I'll give you $200, and the deal was done. Go, Mini, go! So I put it up for Craigslist the next day after I washed it. I put it up for sale, just listed, this is everything wrong with it. And everything was wrong with it. And, but then I drove it to work the next day for fun. I was like, let me drive it a few miles before I sell it. Man, I fell in love with it. So I took the ad down, and I've had it for 3 weeks now. I've probably put about $800 of parts on it, and I've probably put about 80 hours of my labor into it, and it's really doing well now. I've fixed a ton of suspension problems, got rid of the check engine light, just cosmetically just did a full cleaning and detail, rust repair, tons of little things to just take the squeaks and rattles out, some new badges, condition the leather, etc., etc. It's really doing great now, and for a moment or three, I considered keeping this car and just using it as a daily. And man, there is so much to love about this car, but I have decided to go ahead and sell it, which I will be doing soon. And the reason is, these cars are absolute garbage. As great of a car as this little Mini Cooper is, So let me talk about that. I'm going to talk about the big negative and the big positive. And let's do a little pull here. Here we go. Go, Mini, go. Man, what a delightful car. It's so sad that you suck so bad. Man, okay, let me talk about it. What a great tragedy this car is. Reliability, guys. I've never heard good things about Mini. I've never owned one. Now that I have one, I've watched lots and lots of videos and tutorials. Pretty much everyone says the same thing. When it's running, it's amazing. It's such a pleasure and joy to drive. But that's when it's running. Because every few months, if you're lucky, something breaks. And when something breaks, it's a lot of money. Like, a lot of money. Like, to get rid of this airbag light, I actually bought the INPA cable and downloaded the software. Steer off the road here. And spent all the time trying to do that, get rid of that thing. The seatbelt pretensioners were just fixed on this car. I still can't get rid of that light. And, from what I've researched, it's going to be a big ticket fix. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, it's just everything I read. People are like, it's a love-hate. Like, when it's running, it's great, but you fix something and it's $1,000, and then 3 months later, you need something else to do, and it's, you got to fix something else, and it's $1,300, and it's always it's always like double what you think it should be, like what it would be for a Honda. So, that's just kind of made me realize, this probably is not the car for me to keep. And there's a lot of these for sale for, in my area in Georgia here, I found 8 or 9 for sale for $3,000-4,000 in decent condition. Of course, you never know what's lurking behind, under the hood, what needs to be done. But just to give you an example, like in the last 20,000 miles, I made a list here. There was so much I couldn't remember it all. In the last 20,000 miles, the previous owner replaced the clutch, the pressure plate, one axle, clutch master cylinder, clutch slave cylinder, a window regulator, which is broken again, by the way, struts, seatbelt pretensioners, and then I did the wiper motor, front hubs, front control arm bushings, and a whole bunch of little stuff. That's just in 20,000 miles. Just for perspective, that's like $5,000-6,000 parts and labor, all that stuff. In a car that's worth at this point maybe $3,000 or $4,000. For perspective, my Honda, I have a Honda Civic in my driveway. It's a 1998. I've owned it for 5 years. I've put about 35,000 miles on it between me and my teenagers. In 5 years and 35,000 miles, I've spent literally about $400 on that car. All it needed one oxygen sensor, it needed a radiator, and it needed, what else did it need? A window regulator. That's it. And so in the same amount of time, this car has needed so much more. And by the way, that car has 218,000, 220,000 miles, somewhere in there. And this has 74. So we're at a third of the mileage of my old Honda. And yet this has needed probably 10 times as much work if you add up the dollars. It's unacceptable. You know, it's really sad because there's so much to love about this car. So for that reason, I just don't want something that I'm always turning around having to fix something else. You know, that said, let me talk about the good. What a great car. My goodness. What a great car. This car looks good. It's very comfortable. The interior is nice. It's very roomy, even though it's small. It drives so well. It handles incredibly. The best thing about this car is its personality. The interface between the motor, the clutch, the suspension, the steering wheel is absolutely fantastic. And this motor pulls like a little demon. I mean, it is so strong. It's not crazy, but it's strong. Here we are, third gear. Woohoo! And that supercharger whine, that's just amazing. I have a K&N filter, by the way, with a heat shield to amplify the sound a little bit. Everything else is stock. But man, it just never gets old. And, you know, it's just, there's such a pleasure and a fun car to drive, and I'm getting compliments. People see it, they're like, oh, you got a Mini. You know, the clown car, the Mr. Bean car, the rally car. It's so connected. I would even say, after driving this for a few weeks, this car has a more enjoyable feel than my Fiesta ST. And I know that's blasphemy to some people, but guys, there's just a connectedness. In the Fiesta ST, before that, my 1991 SCR Sentra was the most connected feeling I had ever experienced in a car. Now, I haven't driven Porsches and expensive cars, but we're just talking things normal people can afford. The Fiesta ST is one of the most incredible analog feeling connected cars there is. But this beats it. Both cars are lightweight, both cars are little, both cars have incredible input, steering, feedback from the road, but this car has a rawness to it. It's a heaviness, not heavy weight, but a heaviness to the steering, the suspension, that is just, it's so ridiculous. Go, Mini, go! And it's just so fun to drive. It's just so raw feeling. There's so much personality in this car. And that's why it's such a tragedy, because every mile is fun to drive. But knowing that you're going to be under it or forking out money to keep it going, you know, I can see why people are dumping these at this age, because it's like, I'm going to get my $3,000 or $4,000 out of it now, or the air's going to break, or it's going to need another $1,500 of suspension, or, you know, 50 other problems you can find on YouTube. I've never seen a car that there are so many videos titled "All the Things Wrong with My Generation 1 Mini Cooper." And that kind of tells you something. So, you know, in closing, what a great car this is. I've loved owning it just for a few weeks, and you know, I'm always gonna have a fond memory of it, but you know what, I just need something that I'm not gonna be under all the time putting money into. So I'm gonna pass it on, hopefully to somebody that will appreciate it and enjoy it. That's my review. Great car. Wow, what a great car. If only it was better built. So I'll do another video soon and just kind of recap everything I've done, because I've done so much to this since the last video where I kind of showed the exterior and interior. So I'll be shooting that before I sell it, and I just thought it would be neat to share some perspective of owning this in POV drive. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave me thoughts if you have them. Let's have some discussion. Take care. Peace. Later.